Welcome to What is Crypto? I'm Matt, and this is Crypto. Today I'm going to be talking about Casper, ticker signal KAS. If that sounds like it could be for you and you want to help get more Casper content out there to the masses, then as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and join my free Discord. 100% free to join. All you need to do is scroll down, click the link, and I will see you there. Cheers, legends. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's chat Bitcoin. So as you can see, Bitcoin, we're in a bull flag from 28th of February until we broke out in October. So we were in that for around 230 days. So after we broke out, we did have a massive pump up in Bitcoin. Altcoins started going absolutely parabolic. And then since then, we chopped around in a range and have since broken below that range. So a couple of key levels to look out for at the moment with Bitcoin. Hopefully this is our low that we've put in here. If we do put in a new low, I'll be looking for a little bit of support at around the $75,000 mark. And max opportunity would be if you can get into your altcoins or Bitcoin, kind of really anywhere under 73K. But yeah, I do think at the moment we are very close to the local bottom if we haven't already hit it here. Also, this diagonal resistance line, love to break out of that and then reclaim 90,000. If we can break above that, initially reclaim that 86,000 mark and then 90,000, I think the bulls are going to be back in charge. So something along the lines of this, that is the price action that I want to see. I think a lot of the reason why Bitcoin has been struggling is because of the S&P and the macroeconomic things that have been going on. So Bitcoin is highly correlated to the S&P and the S&P has been nuking. So for TradFi or traditional finance, a drop of 10% in the S&P is enormous. And a 10% drop is the biggest drop that we have seen since 2023. So yeah, really big drop in the S&P. However, after we have drops like this, which are healthy for the market, we usually do recover pretty well and then pump on up. Also, how we're going to perform is largely dependent on a lot of the tariff news that is going on and interest rates coming down. So if interest rates come down and the global M2 money supply goes up, which it has been doing since January, then Bitcoin should follow up. As you can see by this chart, Bitcoin generally follows the global M2 money supply. So usually the M2 will rise first, and then a couple of months later, Bitcoin will follow it. And then when the M2 tops out, a couple of months later, Bitcoin will then follow it. And based off this chart, it would make sense that M2 going up should lead to Bitcoin following up. It's now been a few months after, so look for Bitcoin to catch a bid over the next few months. The M2 money supply, simply put, is like a broad measure of all the money in circulation. So the global amount of money in circulation. So the more money there is circulating, the better it is for the markets, as logically there is more money out there to invest in the markets. So we want the M2 money supply to go up, then that should see the S&P 500 go up. After the S&P 500 starts going up, Bitcoin should catch a bid, and when Bitcoin catches a bid, altcoins should follow. So we want to see all of those things happen, and when they do, we also want to have a look at Bitcoin dominance. So we want to see Bitcoin dominance break down if we want an altcoin season. So if you want to have a look at this chart on the monthly, these yellow verticals indicate the Bitcoin halvings, and as you can see, 7 months after a Bitcoin halving, sharp drop off in Bitcoin dominance, and another 7 months after the Bitcoin halving, sharp drop off in Bitcoin dominance. Currently, we are at 10 months after the Bitcoin halving, hopefully a sharp drop off in Bitcoin dominance soon. Now, if you're not familiar with Bitcoin dominance, when this chart is going down, that means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. So the dominance of Bitcoin is getting less. So for an altcoin season, we want to see a sharp drop off in Bitcoin dominance. When the chart is going up, that means that Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. So it makes more sense to have your money in Bitcoin than altcoins. Usually the pattern is it will go up for 3 years where Bitcoin outperforms altcoins for 3 years, and then it'll go down sharply for 1 year where your altcoins will significantly outperform Bitcoin. So that's just what has been historically happening. Not saying it's going to happen again. However, that's definitely what I'm looking out for. Alrighty, now let's talk about Casper. It did range for about a year and a half, chopping in between 10 cents and 19 cents. Now we did break below, however, we reclaimed. However, unfortunately, just as we'd reclaimed and re-entered the range, Bitcoin nuked 20%. So of course, when Bitcoin nukes 20%, there's going to be an absolute bloodbath in altcoins. Now I did enter Casper down here at 5.8 cents. That was slightly front running our next major level, which is at 5.2 cents. So yeah, Didn't quite get Pico lows. However, I think I got pretty darn close. I think we got down to 5.5 cents, but I personally didn't want to miss out on adding more to my Casper, trying to get a 10% cheaper coin. So yeah, I can see a level where we do sweep these lows before running back up, and really anything sub 10 cents I still think is a great price for Casper. And I do still think that Casper is going to have a really damn great bull run. Casper just has so much going on for it at the moment, so we are crushing the Crescendo roadmap at the moment. We have gone live on testnet and transitioned to 10 blocks per second. The hard fork is going to be occurring in April, and if you're not familiar with Crescendo, in essence, the upgrade increases block rate and transition throughput. And one of the reasons that I'm actually more bullish on Casper now than I've ever been is because they've laid out their roadmap and they've actually been deving, they've been achieving, and they have been working, continuing to build Casper up. Yes, they haven't got a Binance or Coinbase spot listing, although they've got Binance and Coinbase futures listings, but I think the focus for them and the focus in crypto should actually be on building up your technology first, building up something that is actually useful for the world. So I do think the argument for Casper as that peer-to-peer payment solution is only getting stronger, and that's definitely the reason that I got so damn excited in Casper in the first place. One of the reasons that I got into crypto was Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was that kind of money that you could send to other people, that peer-to-peer payment. However, it is not scalable to use globally. It has a wonderful use case, and it is now more seen as a digital gold, that store of value. But I think something that is more scalable is needed, something that is able to be used as a digital silver, as that payment solution that Satoshi Nakamoto initially set out to build. Now, I think Casper is in a really good place to compete for that, and there really is a big market for that globally. I think there is such a need for decentralization in the modern world, and I think one of the reasons why people love Casper and why they loved Bitcoin is that peer-to-peer element, that non-reliance on centralized entities, that non-reliance on banks, that ability to send money from person A to person B without anyone telling you that you can't do it. There are no banking holidays. There are no bans from countries interacting with people from other countries. There is no bank freezing your assets. There is no middleman reliance. It is person A sending money to person B on a decentralized network. I think that is something pretty damn awesome and pretty damn special, super important going forward in the future. And I think the fact that Casper is the fastest open source, decentralized, fully scalable layer 1, now with their 10 blocks per second update rolled out, watch this space over the next 6 weeks as there is some revolutionary technology that is occurring with Casper. So personally, it doesn't make any sense at all to me why you would be less bullish on Casper now, simply because it hasn't got listed on Coinbase or Binance. The whole market has been bleeding. Casper is still working. Casper is still building. Nothing has changed there. It's also now over 90% mined. So 90% of it is already in circulation. It is a coin that has been 90% mined. It was fair launched as a proof of work. And the founder, Jonathan Sompolinsky, was mentioned in Ethereum's white paper. If you're bullish on Casper, you probably know all these things, but that is just me saying that to get it through to you why I don't believe there is any reason to be less bullish on Casper now than you have ever been. Personally, I'm more bullish on Casper as they have been ticking off what they've set out to do. They've been kicking goals, continuing to work, and really, that's the whole point of Casper in the first place. Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for me today, legends. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps get Casper content out there, and I really would appreciate it. Also, if you want to join the Discord, it's 100% free to join. Scroll down, click the link, and I'll see you there. Cheers, legends. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.